Donald Trump is still coming off of an excellent debate performance. Although many polls say he didn't win, there are a lot of people saying he did a really, really great job. He was controlled. Undecided voters in some polls said he was controlled and Biden was vague. All in all, I think it was a really great night for the president, notably when Joe Biden said that he wanted to transition off of fossil fuels. Yes, when asked if he would shut down the oil industry. That, to me, was a death blow to his campaign. I would be surprised if he wins at this point. But anyway, I digress. Coming off of all of that from last night and this booming press, Donald Trump has announced another historic peace agreement in North Africa and the Middle East, this time Sudan and Israel. Now, most of you know, if you follow my content, my videos, I feel that foreign policy is extremely important. I want peace, not war. Under the Obama years, we got more war, and they handed off these conflicts and these crises to Donald Trump. And under Trump, I can now say in the past couple of years, he has done a tremendous job of bringing about peace agreements. Of course, the cynical press views these peace agreements as just cynical and transactional. And I personally take offense to that because, listen, I don't care how you get it done. Donald Trump is getting it done. Many of these countries said they would never recognize Israel, and now Sudan is on board, and Trump has announced 5 more countries want to get on board with normalizing relations with Israel. I'm just going to say it. At this pace, if Trump gets another 4 years, heaven help us, we might actually see peace in the Middle East. That, for me, is an excellent reason to support Donald Trump. And if we look back at the Obama years, it's a really great reason not to support Joe Biden. Peace in the Middle East is something we should all be excited about. Now, world peace, that would be fantastic. But listen, if you don't care about foreign policy, this means that we can start to work to free up resources that normally we spend overseas back here at home. So now we can start doing things like, fixing Flint's pipes, which desperately need to be fixed because people are getting sick. We got a lot of money we waste overseas. We shouldn't be the world police. Perhaps we should be the world mediator, the world diplomat, and do what Donald Trump has done with now, I think is 4th historic peace agreement just after this debate and only about a week and a half before Election Day, with 50 million or so votes already cast. I hope people recognize why this is so important. And I'm going to tell you what scares me about Joe Biden. An article from 2017. Biden was the vice president under Obama. They gave us more war. This is one of the most important issues for me. Let's read the story. Before we get started, head over to timcast.com/donate if you'd like to support my work. There are many ways you can give, but the best thing you can do is share this video. Seriously, history is being made right now. It's incredible. In a generation or two or generations, people will look back on history and say, this was the day. These were the days. This was the period. Although we were facing great political strife, we had a leader who was working towards peace agreements. I hope they stand. That's why it's important people know about this. It also helps support my channel. So don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. And maybe this is important information people should know about just before the election. Why should you support Donald Trump? For all his faults, I will take peace in the Middle East, please. And Biden will not deliver that. Let's read the story from Vox.com. The U.S. just brokered another peace deal for Israel, this time with Sudan. At its core, it looks like the deal is really a trade where the U.S. gives Sudan financial help in exchange for recognizing Israel. Well, it sounds like if that's the case, if that's all it is, then U.S. foreign policy worked, at least in terms of sanctions. Hey, you don't want peace? Well, then we're going to put sanctions on you. We're going to restrict trade. And then finally they said, okay, we relent. We want peace. And then it worked. It's a good thing. Let's be positive about it. Vox says President Donald Trump announced Friday that Sudan has become the 3rd country to normalize relations with Israel during the Trump administration, underscoring how the president's diplomatic efforts in the Middle East may prove to be the most significant foreign policy achievement of his first term. I mean, in my opinion, the most significant achievement. I know the economy was really, really great, but I think we need world peace. I really do. Look, it's really great when the American people do well. Secure your own oxygen mask before securing the mask of those next to you. But I think we want this planet to succeed. And we can do that by being strong and well off. It gives us the opportunity by protecting America and its interests, the working class, our jobs. It gives us the ability to make these negotiations. Trump, along with leaders of Israel and Sudan, proclaimed a new agreement during a Friday call. Quote, "The state of Israel and the Republic of Sudan have agreed to make peace," Trump told reporters in the Oval Office. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu praised Trump on the phone for the outcome, saying, "We are expanding the circle of peace so rapidly with your leadership," Trump responded. "There are many more coming." If Saudi Arabia gets involved, I'm sorry, if they get on board with this, talk about wow. A statement by the nation's three leaders released by the White House provided more details. The leaders agreed to the normalization of relations between Sudan and Israel and to the end of the state of belligerence between their nations, it reads. In return, the United States will take steps to restore Sudan's sovereign immunity and to engage its international partners to reduce Sudan's debt burdens. Furthermore, the United States and Israel also committed to working with their partners to support the people of Sudan in strengthening their democracy, improving food security, countering terrorism and extremism, and tapping into their economic potential. At its core, then the deal looks like a trade where the U.S. and Israel give Sudan financial support in exchange for diplomatic normalization. Hey, I'll take it. That's the point, right? We do a trade deal with you. We stop fighting. We all make money. We do better. Listen, people in Sudan need food, right? Well, let's get them the food they need. In exchange, we ask that you stop the aggression, that we stop fighting. That's fantastic, isn't it? I mean, at least I'd think so. We have a joint statement from the United States, the Republic of Sudan, and the State of Israel. President Donald J. Trump, Sudanese chairman of Sovereignty Council, Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, Sudanese Prime Minister Abdallah Hamdok, and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu spoke today to discuss Sudan's historic progress towards democracy and opportunities to advance peace in the region. The historic, I'm skipping through the article, the letter, I'll just read the end. This historic agreement is a testament to the bold and visionary approach of the four leaders. Prime Minister Netanyahu, Chairman al-Burhan, and Prime Minister Hamdok expressed their appreciation for President Trump for his pragmatic and unique approach to ending old conflicts and building a future of peace and opportunity for all people of the region. I am impressed. I am ecstatic. I lived through the Bush years, the Obama years. Trump has really, really done a good job on this. My utmost respect to the president for the efforts he's taken with North Korea, with many other with many countries, especially here in these peace agreements. Listen, they want to call Donald Trump a fascist, okay? But a president that is more concerned about his own people and is bringing about peace in other regions seems to be the opposite of what we got from the fascists of old. Back in World War II, these people were all about conquest and taking. Donald Trump is bringing peace and offering food security and counter terror. I'm very, very happy about this. This is some of the biggest. You know what, man? Look, Trump has Bahrain, the United Arab Emirates, now Sudan, and he has the Kosovo-Serbia deal. This is absolutely incredible. The announcement follows Trump administration brokered deals between Israel and the UAE in August and Bahrain last month. Before that, the last peace deal Israel struck with an Arab country was with Jordan in 1994 and then Egypt in 1979. But the deal with Sudan is arguably more significant. The UAE and Bahrain weren't at war with Israel when they signed their agreements. Sudan and Israel were. That means while the first two pacts were normalization deals, this one with Sudan could potentially be described more accurately as a peace deal. I am so overwhelmed with hope and joy, and I want to see more of this. If I'll tell you this, call it cynical, call it whatever you want. If Trump is this mustache-twirling villain in his office saying, I know how we'll get the American people to vote for me. I'll bring about peace in the Middle East. I'm just like, oh, no. Yeah. Oh, geez, Trump, you've convinced me to vote for you. I don't view it cynical. Maybe Trump waited to the last minute these past few months to sign off on these deals. Don't care. I'm glad it's fresh in everyone's memory. This is important. I grew up in an era of military excursions in foreign countries, wastes of money, civilian deaths, drone bombs, our troops being overseas, something I don't think we should be doing or ever should have done. And it was the media, the mainstream media manipulating people and lying that got us into these wars. You ever wonder why it is? I talk about foreign policy and why it is I don't like the mainstream media. Yet perhaps I've got a chip on my shoulder about what they did for the past 20 years and the people who have lost their lives. And now it seems like under Trump, it is starting to come into focus some kind of peace. I feel like that's it. I can go and rest easy if we finally solve these problems. War is complicated. It's difficult. People fight for resources. People are scared. It is difficult to pull off something like this, but this is amazing. Ambassador Ram Dermer says, from 3 no's to 3 yeses. In 1967, the Arab world infamously declared in Sudan's capital, no recognition, no negotiation, and no peace with Israel. Today, Sudan joins the UAE and Bahrain as the 3rd Arab country to make peace with Israel in 2020, but this literally ended a state of war. Bravo, good sir, to Donald Trump. Seriously, bravo. And we have this tweet from Breaking 911. President Trump has just announced that at least 5 additional countries want to join in a peace deal with Israel and says Saudi Arabia is one of them. Says there will be a big signing event at the White House. Bring it on. Bring in Saudi Arabia into the White House. Have these countries stand together and shake hands. I will give you a standing ovation, good sir. And I will walk into that polling place with a smile on my face. I have said that there are many reasons why I will unhappily be voting for Donald Trump. And it's not cut and dry. It's not one thing. I'm unhappy about Trump's character. But last night at the debate, he was way better. He was controlled. I respect that. He called out Joe Biden. You got some ethics bickering, all that stuff. Trump has character defects and attitude problems. But I'll tell you this. I don't care about that. I can criticize Trump. You want to tell me that Trump's enriching his family, all these other corrupt things? I go like, well, listen. We got Crooked Joe, his family, these emails being released, and you got Donald Trump. You tell me they're both corrupt. Okay, I don't know. Fine, whatever. Which one signed historic peace agreements? Which one is bringing our troops back? January 18th, 2017, from NPR, after 8 years of unbroken war, Obama hands conflicts over to Trump. That's right. Donald Trump, just now completing his first term, is ending decades of unbroken war. We did not get that from Biden. We got the opposite. He passed the buck to Trump. And I believe, in my opinion, that Joe Biden, that Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton wanted this conflict. They want the chaos of the Middle East as justification for their incursions to gain power. The Qatar-Turkey pipeline. They wanted to get natural gas into Europe. I can understand that. It's not evil. I mean, maybe some people are trying to make money off it. Maybe some people put their son got positioned on a board of an energy company in Ukraine. Gazprom, Russian natural gas. The U.S. was interested in getting natural gas into Europe to offset the Russian monopoly. It resulted partly, it's a contributing factor in the chaos that ensued in the Middle East. I believe if we put Biden back in that office, he will destabilize the region on purpose to use it as justification for why the U.S. needs to be there. There are serious concerns. And I've talked to some respectable people. I believe it was Sean Parnell, a Republican, pro-Trump, who said that if we were to leave, get all our troops out of, say, Afghanistan, it could create the power vacuum that resulted in ISIS. So we need to have some kind of presence there, but we can do it with a lot less. Respectable. It's a middle of the road approach. I mean, I don't want to jump onto any extremes. I like that Trump is pulling our troops out, and perhaps we need some kind of minimal presence that just makes sure ISIS doesn't come back or something or something like that. I can respect that. I can respect compromise and negotiation. You tell me we can't. Okay, what can we do? Because we have to be leaving these things behind. 20 years. 19 years. We've been through this. 8 years under Obama. I am terrified of what happens if Joe Biden gets elected, and I'm worried he may. After all of this, after now, 4 historic peace agreements. Admittedly, look, the Kosovo-Serbia thing is not about the Middle East and Israel, but it is still very significant. After all this, Trump's approval on foreign policy is still underwater. I know he's not perfect. I know there are things I've complained about. Tomahawk missiles, 59 Tomahawk missiles into Syria. Come on. The media praised him. Is this Trump being presidential? And people are upset with it. Harvard Harris, one of the most recent actually, has Trump doing really well. He's up 4 points. Then we can see Gallup has Trump down 7. We can see Geopolitics Battleground from back in August has Trump at minus 15. Maybe Trump has improved dramatically because of these peace agreements. I believe this is qualifying for a re-election. Listen, this is the story. NPR is telling you that unbroken war under Obama, they just passed it off to Trump. And maybe that's what they're really mad about. Maybe that's why they're so desperate to stop Trump. Maybe that's why the media is so desperate to stop Trump. Who got us into these wars? Why, it was the mainstream media warning us of weapons of mass destruction. I remember that famous line. What was it? George W. Bush eating a sandwich. And Dick Cheney said, if there was a 1% chance that that food was bad, it would make you sick, would you eat it? And then they had that line in that movie or whatever where, I think it was Josh Brolin playing W. He's like, oh, come on. And he won't eat the sandwich anymore. It's horrifying logic. If there was a 1% chance that you would go into a country if there was a 99% chance you would wrongly invade a sovereign nation, resulting in the death of hundreds of thousands, would you do it? No. That was their justification. The media with their lies, with the weapons of mass destruction that weren't there. And we got to live through that. And Trump gets to end it. I will not send Joe Biden back into that office to make it all worse again. Last night, Joe Biden compared Kim Jong-un to Adolf Hitler, assuring that if he gets in office, our relationship with North Korea is already in the gutter. They attack Donald Trump because he is trying to bring about peace. I will not accept that. When Donald Trump crossed the demilitarized zone into North Korea, standing ovation. They try to downplay it. He's ponying up to dictators. Shut your mouth. Trump crossed into hostile territory with no security. I am shocked, inspired, and hopeful that we can do more of this. North Korea has serious problems, but solving these problems starts with compromise and good faith. So of course Donald Trump is going to say nice things about Kim Jong-un. He is trying to end a decades-long conflict. I'm hoping. You know what? Look, I'm sitting here and I'm thinking about. I always want to do my biggest segment for 4 p.m. How much do people really care about foreign policy? Admittedly, most people not so much. I do. I care about it a whole lot. I want to see our troops come home. I know it is a big issue for sure. It is a very big issue. But the economy is number one. I want to see our troops come home. I want to see our money be spent fixing the problems in Flint, Michigan. I'm tired of hearing excuses. We can rebuild our infrastructure. We can do right by the American people who need our help. We can reopen our schools. We can build roads and schools in our own country, not other countries. That is in alignment with those who are nationalists. Now, I'm not a staunch nationalist. I just don't like the fact that we are wasting time, energy, money, and people are dying. I don't like the wars. And you know what? When I see Trump supporters say, we need to fix our roads, fix our schools, bring back our jobs, say, hey, I got an idea. I want to end these wars and bring about peace, right? You want to rebuild schools. What if I found you money? We bring our troops back. You see what I mean? I know it's not the biggest issue. And I kind of feel like this is not going to get the most views. I could have done something on the debate. I could have said, oh, Joe Biden is so dumb. Well, admittedly, I'm very critical of Biden in the segment. But I wanted to talk about what I view as one of the most important things. Look, I watched the debate last night and I'm laughing. I'm having a good time. And, because I'm seeing Trump say these things that I think are important. Critical race theory is nightmarish. The economy was doing really, really well under Trump. But this gives me an entirely different feeling of hope. It's like a new day rising. Here's what I hope. I hope that Donald Trump, with his approval rating higher than it was than his first year, it's above average, with Trump's favorability higher than it was when he first got elected. I hope that people who view Trump's job on the economy, they overwhelmingly approve of it it's +3. I hope these people vote for Donald Trump so that he can continue his foreign policy path. maybe you don't care about this. And I'm not saying you have to. But by all means, we all have our issues. Like we all have the issues that we're very concerned about. Maybe you're someone who looks at this and says, I get it, Tim. It's really, really cool. I just think bringing our jobs back is more important. I hear you. Well, Donald Trump's got you right there, the economy. I hope people look at the economy and they say, I'm going to vote for Trump, because then that means those who care about foreign policy get these peace agreements. It's amazing to see people like Chris Hayes and the Democrats desperately try to smear Trump over this. They're like, oh, it's nothing. It's just a transactional deal. He's just giving them money. Dude, if I saw two guys fighting and it was bad and it was going on for a long time and I said, bro, if I give each of you $10, will you stop fighting? And they were like, okay, all right, great. Here's the $10. Stop fighting. Now, granted, I don't know what Sudan is going to be getting in terms of the max, like the total financial compensation, but the U.S. is taking them off of a state-sponsored terror list. It's going to allow them to get foreign aid. It's going to allow them to do more trade. And the U.S. is going to help people in this country who need help. And that's a good thing. Now, for me, for the most part, I'm not the most in favor of, the U.S. giving tons of money to foreign countries and aid and all that stuff. It's okay. I kind of like it. I think what we should do is teach people to fish and provide them fishing poles. It's not so much just teach them to fish and walk away. It's not so much give them fish. It's no. Teach them to fish, give them supplies to do it. If we can help a nation like Sudan and it brings about more peace and the dominoes keep falling, we are on a track to serious world peace. It's funny to me when I hear about these people who are the globalists or whatever, the international corporations, they thrive on war. I don't think they want to bring about some kind of unifying world government. They want people to be fighting each other so that they can be the ones who you run to when you're scared. Well, Donald Trump is saying this. We're going to do right by America. I say, okay. I mean, yeah, it makes sense. I'm very much in favor of international peace agreements and working on strengthening relations and normalizing ties with many countries. I think most people are. But I'm not like a hardcore nationalist. I'm not like this, America first, woo, kind of person. But I think war is bad. And I think we've got a real path here. Unfortunately for us, 538 still says that Donald Trump is on track for a stunning defeat. And it's kind of shocking to me that we can spend decades overseas in these wars that are wholly unpopular, a waste of our money. And Donald Trump is doing these agreements and they still say Biden is winning. But Biden and Obama got us entangled in Libya and Syria. Drone strikes in Yemen. I know Trump isn't perfect in his first years, but this is a dramatic improvement, a reversal. He fired John Bolton. Shouldn't have hired that guy in the first place. I see good things ahead, and this worries me. I'm going out. I'm going to go make sure I vote. I'm going to be voting very, very soon, and I'm going to be voting for Donald Trump. And I'll tell you this, man. The riots kind of flipped me, and I was like, okay, look, he's the only one talking about solving these problems. The Democrats aren't doing it. And that was a big reason why I said, finally, I'm going to vote for him. Because earlier I said, I want to see Tulsi Gabbard on like a security advisor position. And there are many conservatives who said the same thing. I think it was the American Conservative magazine that said, fire Bolton, hire Tulsi. Because she's not going to be advising you on on economic policy, on conflict and crisis in the Middle East. And conservatives don't want war either. In fact, I think the left doesn't, they're almost pro-war at this point. I want to see Trump win. I'm going to go vote for Trump. The riots were one thing, but then he said he's going to withdraw his troops. And I said, hey, what's this? And it was the Democrats and Republicans alike that voted against him. 3 Democrats and 8 Republicans stood with the president. So Tulsi Gabbard, I believe, was one. Ro Khanna was another. I don't remember the other Democrat, but my utmost respect to them. And then on the Republican side, I think it was like Thomas Massie, Matt Gaetz, and a few others. I can't remember their names either, but my utmost respect to these individuals. We have 2 parties. We have Democrats and Republicans. They don't care about what the American people actually want. I know that the progressive left, we have our disagreements. I am not a fan of the Green New Deal and all that stuff. I mean, the initial idea of investing in green technology I was, but whatever they're proposing is ridiculous. I hope that we can at least come together on saying, how about we fight amongst ourselves, like verbally, not physically, and then we stop fighting physically over there. I think the progressives can all get on board with that, right? Maybe that's the place with which progressives and conservatives come together and say F you to the establishment. Unfortunately, I think the media is doing everything in its power to make sure that Trump can't win. And that's sad to me. That's very, very sad. But they want war. They want the war. They want the conflict. They want the crisis. They thrive on it. If it bleeds, it leads. Oh no, if we take away the war, what will they cover? To be fair, they've been covering Trump. But it's because Trump is enacting these peace agreements. It's really bad news for them, right? So they'll smear him all day and night to make up their money where they can. Under Obama, they got a glorious 8 years of covering the bleed. I'm not interested. I've been on the ground for many of those conflicts. I witnessed some of those. I don't want to see more of it. I want to see people chilling, sipping on a coconut or something, hanging out, giving a handshake. I want to see people who don't like each other argue verbally and then walk away and say, well, we'll have to figure this argument out sometime. I don't want to see violence, death, murder. But I think I know who does. The establishment does. They use these conflicts as an excuse. Oh, no. Oh, there's war in the Middle East. Oh, we're going to have to send in more troops. I love it when Trump just came out and said, we got our troops guarding the oil in Syria. It's great. Because when he tried to pull the troops out, they criticized him for it. Okay. I think at the very least, we're on a good track with Trump. Let's hope we remain on that track. You want to talk to me? Let me tell you one last tidbit. For all the people who want to say, but Tim, what about all the social issues and the problems in this country? You know what? I'm not an America First person. I'm not. America, whatever it is you get under Trump is what this country deserves. Absolutely. We deserve Donald Trump. We do. We deserve him. I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm saying that we've done a lot of things in this country that have been good and that have been bad. A lot of people are sick and tired of being sold out to foreign interests. They said Donald Trump. And whatever Donald Trump brings us, it's because of what this country has done. And many people are happy. Many say we do deserve Donald Trump, a hero who will save us. Many others say we don't deserve Donald Trump. He's destroying everything. And others say we do deserve Donald Trump because we're a nasty place. I think we're a great place. But I think our decades of war have been a very, very bad thing. And as far as I'm concerned, if you see that there are bad things happening in this country under Trump, and not everything's been perfect, I say I'm sorry. For decades, civilians have died. Our soldiers, our brothers and sisters who go out there, whose only intention was to protect us, are also dying and being injured, and they're not getting the appropriate treatment they need when they come back. I think we solve that problem first. I would gladly sacrifice myself, I mean personal belongings and comfort, if it meant we were doing right by those we had wronged with these awful wars. So I look at what's happening in the U.S. and I say, you can come to me with all your arguments and all of your complaints, and I'm going to say, I hear ya, but Trump is bringing our troops back and he's bringing about peace in the Middle East. So that's a bigger argument as far as I'm concerned. I'll leave it there. Next segment's coming up at youtube.com/TimCastNews at 6 p.m. Thanks for hanging out, and I will see you all then.